विकी ओबेरॉय, जन्म 3 फरवरी 1929 दिल्ली।
1945 सेंट पॉल्स दार्जिलिंग में स्कूली शिक्षा संपन्न। 1948 लिंकन्स इन से डिग्री प्राप्त। 1950 लॉजेन स्विट्जरलैंड से होटल मैनेजमेंट की डिग्री हासिल। 1950 से 1954 यूरोप भ्रमण। 1955 ग्रैंड होटल कलकत्ता में नौकरी। 1959 गुडी सोहल से विवाह। 1965 ओबेरॉय कॉर्पोरेट ऑफिस में कामकाज शुरू। 1981 से ओबेरॉय ग्रुप के मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर।
आज जब भारत के हर बड़े शहर में कई 5 सितारा होटल हैं, ये भूलना आसान हो गया है कि ये किस्सा शुरू कहां से हुआ था। और शुरू हुआ था दिल्ली के ओबेरॉय होटल से, जिसने भारतीय होटल उद्योग का चेहरा ही बदल डाला। बल्कि अगर किसी एक परिवार का नाम इस उद्योग की बुनियाद कहा जा सकता है तो उस परिवार का नाम है ओबेरॉय। आज इस परिवार के कर्ता धर्ता हैं पृथ्वीराज सिंह या विकी ओबेरॉय। विकी ओबेरॉय को मिलने हम राजस्थान गए, जहां वो जयपुर के पास एक छोटे गढ़ में रहते हैं। कुछ साल पहले जब उन्होंने ये किला खरीदा, वो राजस्थान की कई टूटी पुरानी खंडरों में से एक था। यहाँ तक ना गाड़ी आ सकती थी, ना पानी था, ना बिजली। So this was the old structure. This is what you saw when you came. It's just that big. ओबेरॉय साहब जब उस खंडर को ठीक करके अपने लिए एक सुंदर आधुनिक महल बना रहे थे, तो उनको आइडिया आया कि जयपुर में जो उनका नया ओबेरॉय होटल बन रहा था वो भी इसी किस्म का हो। लेकिन उस नए होटल के बारे में हम आपको बाद में बताएंगे। पहले सुनिए ओबेरॉय ग्रुप की स्टोरी शुरू कहां से होती है। कोई 70 साल पहले मोहन सिंह ओबेरॉय नाम का एक लड़का गर्मियों की छुट्टियां मनाने लाहौर से शिमला पहुंचा, जहां उसकी नजरें सेसिल होटल पे पड़ी। उनको ये होटल इतना अच्छा लगा कि उन्होंने उसमें नौकरी ढूंढने की कोशिश की। बाकी स्टोरी आप उनके बेटे की जुबानी सुनिए।
He got his first job in the early 20s in Simla. He went for a holiday to Simla.
From where?
From Lahore.
From Lahore.
And then he was looking around and he went to the Cecil. And it looked very glamorous. And he tried to get inside the hotel, to have an interview with the general manager, Mr. Grove. And they wouldn't allow him in.
Why?
Well,
young boy.
I mean, looking for a job. So eventually, Mr. Grove was going for a walk, and he met him and asked him for a job, and he got the job, 50 rupees a month, at the front desk and then as a cashier. And then he progressed from there, and there was a Mr. Clark working in the hotel also, who bought a hotel and asked him to go into partnership with him.
Why did he decide to ask him?
Well, he probably found him to be very hardworking and had good ideas, how to look after people. And
you make it sound so easy, but here's this young boy from Lahore who suddenly decides to become a hotelier. There must have been
well, he was
something.
looking for a job. He wasn't looking to be a hotelier.
No, but I mean, it must have been hard, no?
Of course, very hard.
How many years did it take him then before he bought the Cecil?
No, he didn't buy the Cecil. Then he eventually, Mr. Clark went off to England and sold a half share to my father. So he became 100% owner of Clark's.
Clark's in
Simla.
Simla, that lovely little hotel.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his as well.
That's right. Then, after that, the Grand in Calcutta had been closed. And the bank took over the hotel and then wanted to lease it. And my father took the lease. Soon thereafter, the war broke out. And of course, during the war, Calcutta was a boom. And then in 1943, my father went and bought the shares of the company that we used to work for, the Associated Hotels, which had 4 hotels in Pakistan, 4 hotels in India, including the Cecil, and made Mr. Grove the general manager of the Grand.
यानी 20 साल के अंदर ही मोहन सिंह ओबरॉय ने अपने होटल एम्पायर की बुनियाद रख डाली और 1965 में उन्होंने दिल्ली में ओबरॉय होटल उस वक्त खोला जब भारत में असली 5 सितारा होटल एक नहीं था।
It was the first luxury hotel in India.
The Oberoi.
Yes. It had 5 restaurants, 2 bars, it was fully air-conditioned, swimming pool, a health club. So it all the facilities that make a true 5-star hotel. And it changed the life of Delhi, in fact.
बिकी ओबरॉय अपने पिता के बारे में कहते हैं कि वो अगर कोई चीज चाहते हैं तो उसको हासिल करके ही रहते हैं, दोस्ती की अहमियत को समझते हैं और अपने मुलाजिमों से इज्जत से पेश आते हैं। यही उनकी कामयाबी का राज है।
Well, I think my father had 2 or 3, still has, 2, 3 tremendous qualities. First of all, he's very persistent. If he sets his heart to something, he does it. Secondly, he is a very good friend of people. He doesn't have too many friends, but the friends he has through thick and thin, and they're with him and he's with them. And thirdly, he was very good with people, employees particularly. He knew practically everybody's name in the company.
राय बहादुर मोहन सिंह ओबरॉय की उम्र अब 98 वर्ष की है और वो तकरीबन रिटायर हो चुके हैं। पिछले 15-20 सालों से ओबरॉय साम्राज्य को बिकी ओबरॉय ही चला रहे हैं। होटल उद्योग का कारोबार विदेशी टूरिस्ट पे निर्भर है। 85% बिजनेस उन्हीं से आती है। लेकिन पिछले कुछ सालों में विदेशी टूरिस्ट भारत के ऊपर से उड़कर दक्षिण पूर्वी देशों की तरफ जाते हैं, जिनकी सरकारों ने टूरिज्म की इम्पोर्टेंस हमसे ज्यादा समझ ली है।
All the rich people that I know who used to come to this country have stopped coming here. For the simple reason that we've stood still. Infrastructure, airlines, airports, and other countries in the area, Bangkok, even Sri Lanka.
Have gone up.
Yeah, you go to Sri Lanka, to Colombo Airport. It's a beautiful little airport. Clean, well-lit, inviting. Now, I can't say that for our airports. But nobody understands this. Or nobody seems to care if they do understand.
If you were Minister of Tourism for a week, what would you do?
Well, I don't think it could be done in a week.
All right, if you
I
were
don't think
Minister of
the
Tourism.
government has to do. They have to encourage. First of all, airports have got it, because that's a point of entry. The first thing you see is the airport. And that gives you the first impression. I think our airports have got to be professionally designed from wherever you can get the best expertise. Now take our hotels, we get the best expertise from wherever. That's why our hotels are, whether it be in interior design or lighting, even lighting in hotels, many people will be surprised is important. Now you see our airports. So that's number one. Number two, infrastructure has to be improved. Our roads, our railways, communication generally, telephone services, all right. But I think our airline system is very poor.
There are not enough flights.
We have hundreds of wonderful destinations, but you can't get to them.
5 सितारा होटलों को अक्सर हमारे राजनेता और अफसर सिर्फ अमीरों का एक खिलौना, एक खेल मैदान समझते हैं, लेकिन ये समझ नहीं है, नासमझी है। टूरिज्म आज भी भारत के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज कमा रहा है और अगर टूरिज्म को बढ़ावा दिया जाए तो हमारे कई गरीब प्रांतों में खुशहाली आ सकती है, लेकिन बिना 5 स्टार होटल्स के ना तो टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा और ना ही विदेशी टूरिस्ट आएंगे।
They treat it as an elitist industry. Rich people come, what do we care? They don't know what can do what can be done for the economic development of the country.
Yeah,
At very little cost, mind you.
Is it the biggest foreign exchange earner?
It is. It is. Because we export nothing. If you take diamonds, for instance, you bring diamonds in, you import diamonds, you cut them and you send them abroad.
Yeah.
Here we import practically nothing. Some food and liquor, some equipment, but it's probably 5% of what we earn, the industry earns.
And not
So all that money stays in India.
But also, isn't it quite disgraceful that a small country like Thailand, I think it's 5 million tourists?
Yes.
And India, with beaches, with everything going for it, with monuments, etc., gets 2. And 2 if we're lucky. You were saying earlier that it isn't even 2.
Well, you know, this thing of tourists is another, I say visitor arrivals. Because everybody who comes to a country is not a tourist in the true sense of the word. India gets 2.3 million visitors. My own estimate is that real tourists are no more than 450,000. And people are overflying India. I mean, all you have to do is arrive at Bombay Airport, you know?
And it puts you off.
It puts you off straight away. I was in Malaysia, and we were in Langkawi. A very nice little airport. Clean, well-lit, inviting.
तो टूरिज्म की अहमियत हमारे पर्यावरण मंत्रियों ने क्यों नहीं कभी समझी?
It's not a complex industry, but it needs in-depth study, this industry. You have to understand what is needed. And with ministers changing, director generals of tourism changing, secretaries of the ministry changing. And then I don't think that I'm sorry to interrupt you, I do not think that one ministry can do it. It needs railways, communications, roads, civil aviation. Used to be civil aviation and tourism used to be one ministry. Now it's been separated for reasons I don't know why. I've talked to many ministers of tourism in the past, and they say, what can I do? You know, I'm here for a short while, I don't really understand what's happening. And then he goes away. And he needs the help and support of other ministries.
ओबरॉय साहब मानते हैं कि भारत आसानी से 50 लाख विदेशी टूरिस्ट को सालाना आकर्षित कर सकता है। हमारे देश में ना तो सुंदर जगहों की कमी है, ना ही पुरानी ऐतिहासिक इमारतों की, लेकिन 50 लाख टूरिस्ट तभी आ सकेंगे जब टूरिज्म के साधन ठीक हों। पहले तो 50 लाख एयरलाइन सीटें होनी चाहिए, जो अब इसलिए नहीं है कि हम एयर इंडिया को सुरक्षित रखने के कारण विदेशी एयरलाइंस को ज्यादा फ्लाइट्स की इजाजत नहीं देते हैं। उसके बाद जरूरत है ढंग के होटलों की, और यहाँ बिकी ओबरॉय कहते हैं कि हमको 5 सितारा होटलों पे ज्यादा ध्यान इसलिए देना चाहिए ताकि हम अमीर टूरिस्ट को आकर्षित कर सकें। उनका मानना है कि जब तक टूरिज्म के इंतजाम की कमी है, तब तक हमको सिर्फ अमीर विदेशियों को भारत लाने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए।
And there's a feeling in the government that you only need 3- and 4-star hotels. Why? Another thing that is not understood.
That you only need them or you don't need them?
That you need only the lower category hotels, and the 5-star deluxe hotels should be encouraged. What is not understood is that a country which is short of infrastructure, like ours, should encourage the high-spending tourists. I'll give you the reasons. Whether a person spends $50 or $300, he uses the same amount of water, he uses the same airline, he uses the same road, he uses the same amount of electricity. So why encourage low-spending tourists?
राजविलास होटल इसी मकसद से बनाया गया है। यहाँ एक दिन का रेट $250 से ज्यादा है, और बिकी ओबरॉय मानते हैं कि भारतीय उद्योगपतियों के अलावा सिर्फ विदेशी टूरिस्ट ये रेट दे सकते हैं। लेकिन वो ये मानने को तैयार नहीं है कि भारतीय होटलों के रेट जरूरत से ज्यादा महंगे हैं।
I do not agree that our hotels are expensive. What is killing the industry are the taxes. For instance, in Delhi, if you have a room for $200, and you really get the hotel, because you're a permanent customer, you pay $150. First of all, you pay 10%, $150. That makes it $165. This is for the room only. Then you pay, today, the 10% luxury Delhi state tax on the $200, because that's your rack rate. So you pay another $20. So in fact, a $150 hotel is $150 room is costing you $180 or $185.
But at the Oberoi, isn't it more than $200 now, a room?
No, our average room rate is about $200. Our rack rate may be 200, more than that. But our average room rate is not more than 200, 210, which is not expensive. You can't get a room in London today for less than 200 pounds.
200 pounds.
200 pounds. And I don't think the London hotels are as good as some of our hotels. I don't mean our own, our company, but some of the hotels in the country.
So you don't think it's too expensive?
No, I think what is killing it is tax. Rajasthan has a 30%, 36% tax on foreign liquor, sales tax, plus a 10% central government tax. So 46% you pay tax on anything that you drink that's imported.
पिछले कुछ महीनों में भारत में टूरिस्ट का आना और भी कम हो गया है और होटल उद्योग पे इसका सीधा असर पड़ा है.
There's been no increase in tourism.
There's been no increase.
And if there has been any increase in tourism, it's the lower end of the market.
Has there been a drop in hotel occupancy?
Yes, because business travel for the last 18 months, changes in government, elections, so people are not traveling, businessmen are not traveling. And of course the Far East, the crisis in the Far East, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, people are not traveling, businessmen are busy in their own countries, and they used to come here for business.
राजविलास ओबरॉय ग्रुप का सबसे नया होटल है और बिकी ओबरॉय ने हमें इसकी अनोखी सैर कराई, जहां थाईलैंड और इंडोनेशिया जैसे पूर्वी देशों में भी इस किस्म के कई रिजॉर्ट होटल दिखते के फॉरेन एक्सचेंज की हमें ज़रूरत है, नहीं आएंगे.
Housekeeping? Well, this for film, you can see. Come and see the bathroom.
It's lovely.
इतने होटलों के मालिक होते हुए भी ओबरॉय साहब फुर्सत से उनका मजा नहीं ले सकते.
When we opened our overseas hotels, Bali, Lombok, we said, even Cairo, we can go for a holiday there. But it never happens. Whenever I go to Bali,
There's work.
It's always work. So, and I don't take, if I have to go for a holiday, I'll go fishing in Iceland. I like to get out of the cities rather than, I wouldn't want to go and sit in a five-star hotel in the south of France. I think I've had enough of that.
Do you manage to have other interests outside your work?
Well, I used to ride every day at one time. I don't do that anymore because one has to ride constantly to keep fit. I'm not that fit anymore. I like horses, so I encourage polo.
है और उस दिन दोपहर को अपने मेहमानों के लिए एक पोलो मैच का इंतजाम उन्होंने किया था.
If you hadn't been a hotelier, because you were sort of born into it, what would you have been?
I have no idea.
Have you ever thought about it?
No, not really.
No?
I like the aviation industry.
So you would have been a pilot?
Maybe.
But did you ever get the choice of deciding what you wanted to be?
Well, I don't think my father forced me to this industry. I lived in hotels. We never had a house. We lived in hotels till I went to abroad.
You grew up in a hotel?
Yes, we were always in hotels. My father never had a house even.
रात को अपने दिल्ली और मुंबई से आए हुए गेस्ट्स के लिए बिकी ओबरॉय ने एक खास दावत दी अपने नए होटल के बाग में. और ऐसे ही खत्म हुआ बिकी ओबरॉय के साथ ये दिन.